Okay, so this is the last part of this tutorial. This is the conclusion of what we did before, which was to camera track the shot, solve the camera. We used manual trackers, imported the manual trackers inside of the camera tracking. We added normal camera automatic points, camera tracking automatic points, and then we added some reflection on noise on the ground that kind of looks like a water puddle. It can be improved, of course, but this is just to show the concept of doing that stuff. And once you have the geometry in place, you will see that things like this will reflect properly. And as the camera moves, see how there is a little parallax between the window in the back and the pillar in front. You know, if you are faking the reflection and you have the geometry in place, you can have a very nice parallax on moving on the reflection. The noise stuff is locked on the ground itself, as you can see here, and the reflection is happening underneath this kind of a, you know, like it's kind of a dirt or something. So this is pretty cool stuff you can do with the shot, and this is just to show you guys what type of information you can get out of a shot that you build the model. I increased some, I did some extra modeling here, all this little stuff, the ventilation things, this also this ventilation stuff. I also added some more detail on the back, just to let me show you guys, just so you guys can see, you know. So now we have divisions here on this pillar, you guys can see. I'm gonna try to, yeah, this one here. There's like the divisions. This is also following the divisions of the background. Yeah, then I added the top things there. I added the subdivisions on the pillar itself, this one also. You know, it has the subdivisions also on this one. So, you know, did some improvements here and there to improve the occlusion and have more, and you can feel especially the stuff in foreground, like this ventilation thing and this like a wooden stuff we can see. So that will also improve the fog that we add later, using the depth and things like that. So I'm gonna walk you guys through what was done, and yeah, so let's see if this can be used for or not. So this is just the same plane we did before. This is just the same thing that we also did before, but now using the latest updated geometry. This is the same light. I just, as I showed you guys, I put the light there, and then I hooked a axis there, and this axis is connected to the camera there, but it's offsetted by, so the axis is making what? It's making the light follow the camera. As the camera moves, as you can see, the light will move together. But I wanted the light to be slightly ahead and slightly pointing slightly down. I'm not sure if you guys can see here. So that I rotated 5 degrees down and moved it a little bit in front of the camera. So that's how you get the light to follow the camera and pointing slightly down, so you can have those nice shadows projected. Very cool. So that was done, and then that was rendered into this step here. I did like a light with a fall off, to, you know, because the idea is to show what we can do with a shot once we have it tracked down. So this is how it is, how it was, very bright. And then if you paint out the reflection stuff, this bright reflection area on the footage itself using the UVs like we did here, and project them back to clean, so you don't have this brighter stuff anymore. I think I only forgot to paint this little guy here. And then you see, if we stick a light on the camera, you can basically fake how the light hits the environment. See how it hits this pillar, but not as much this one, just a little bit here, or just on the corner of the wooden stuff. And the wooden stuff, as you can see, is very evenly lit, because there's light coming from all the sides of this construction room. So it's only really on the corner. So this is all the stuff that makes it look nicer and cool. Yeah. All right. So this will change the mood like immediately, how as it is. Okay. So on top of that, I just pulled like a branch here, and what I did is to have like I decided to have like rotating spheres around the pillars. So I just position the spheres there, and they are rotating. Let's see if it will play or blink like crazy. But if you can look like, yeah, so they're rotating around the spheres, and this is just see how it is. As the camera moves, they are rotating. So this is just the sphere itself. Then I add the transform geo to the sphere. Wait. Okay, so I have the transform geo to the sphere, and that will make it rotate like this. So it is rotating on the inside of this area, and that is done by animating the X translation and the Y translation both. This is just a quick simple sinus and cosinus expression, and then if you change the numbers, it will make this faster or slower. So in the translate you can stick the sinus expression, and in the Z you can stick the cosinus expression. I use the same value, so we have a constant movement, and that makes a circle actually. So the sphere is doing like this. Right. So this, and then I just duplicate this whole little system here. We have another sphere here. Well, after the big movement, I'm not sure how this one is. See, it's much smaller because I changed the values here. So I have it less frequent, so the frequency is lower, which makes it move slower. And also the distance is smaller, so it doesn't go right on the edge of the grid. But here I just make them much smaller because we don't need giant spheres. Then merge them together. See, one is moving faster than the other one. Right. I just applied the reflection material here as it is, and then I merge from, I just copy the point from this, which has the whole scene together, and I just merge this guy here. So now we have the spheres moving and the reflection material applied to the spheres. Okay, if you render this guy out, you get this, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Let me find a frame where you can actually see both of the spheres, because they go behind the pillars. Yeah, this was it. So if you render like this, I am removing the AOV, the reflection pass, which is this guy, from the beauty pass. So that's why we don't see it here, but it's stored on the reflection pass. I also have a movement, like a forward channel, rendering out. So this shuffle is just piping the reflection pass into the RGBA. So now we have these tiers. You don't have to do it like this. This is how I like to do. You can keep it in the RGB if you want. Look something like this. See, put them there. Or I like to have it separated. Okay, good. Here I just have this exact same group, which has the movement by itself on a scanline renderer, because as you can see, I don't have the alpha here, and that is just to give me the alpha of the spheres minus the objects in front of it, like side the pillars, for example, minus all of this because it's rotating behind and in front of this pillar. So I just use the dip, hold out. I'll find the frame where it goes in front of it. It goes actually behind the stuff, right? Yeah, see? So this is just cutting it out from the pillar. Convert it back to image. That's just the alpha, remember? So I just copy this alpha to the whole thing. And promote it. Beautiful. Render this guy out. That's the render. Right? So one thing, because here we are rendering with the light and all the stuff, it's a very dark, it became like a very dark environment. So it's rendering, it's basically black on the top, and that's what you can see here, the reflection. I then decided to have a clean render, as I already have, and this you guys saw before. This is just reflection of to make the water puddles. Alright, so I just added the spheres inside of this together, and then I cut it by the same alpha that we have before, and I just max it on top of the original reflection we have. Do a little bit of grading, right? Just to have more of the ceiling, not a lot, just a little bit, so it's not so black. All right. So this is the light render, and then from here I also have something else. So I am merging here both ceilings, and I'm holding out from the whole pillars. So what I have is the ceiling, but the other objects. Because I wanted to boost this a little bit. And that's exactly what we have happening here now. Just to make it a little bit bright. Right? This is our occlusion pass that goes after this to make it dense, a little bit dense again. Nice. So then I stick the newly built spheres on that. Here it's where I get the flashlight. Oh yeah, I did that. Okay, almost forgot. So what I also did was to build this little setup here, which is what? Which is a camera, normal camera, and then another camera is slightly in front of the actual render camera. Yeah, so this is just a camera using the same trick as I did before. I just duplicate the camera, same one, add an axis and move it a little bit. I also changed the scale a little bit because I'm using this camera. See, it's a little bit off center. That's intentional, because I'm using this to project this image, which is like a flashlight type of beam over the whole geometry that we have, all of it. So it's basically doing this. So it's projecting. I misaligned a little bit from the original camera, otherwise it would look very, you know, too perfect to move, and then we would not feel the parallax so much. But anyway, so that is this. So it renders this as it moves. So you feel that it's hitting the pillars, the spheres, blah blah blah, all of that stuff. So I'm combining this on top of this to make the dark spot in the middle. What I did here was just to take the red channel, multiply by 3 and put it in the alpha, so we have a stronger alpha. And then this one makes a dark spot in the middle, and then I make it slightly lifted with gamma and lift down to make it a little bit more flat again, but then you see the ring here, and then make it more contrasted a bit. So from the top here I have exposure, 2.45 stops quite a lot, then even a bit more here, and then I'm use the same alpha to soft light this over the image, just to have it a bit more contrasted here. Feels a bit more like the light is actually hitting stuff and make it a bit warm and contrasted. So I took this, did some crunchy here, I killed the central sphere, and this is also just to make the rings a bit more visible. And because this is projected on geometry itself, it's actually hitting the edges of where it should, where it's expected, so that's one thing. Right, so I'm mixing this with the puddles we did before. Right, the only difference is that I copied the spheres, as you can see, from here up to here. So the spheres are also included here, because I wanted to see the reflection of the spheres on the puddles also. So that's what we have here. So the last thing I did was to build a little dust particle. That's the one, very quick. I just use the same environment just to position a giant cube. This little guy here. Yeah, see? That goes everywhere. And then the same camera, all the same. So I render out the particles, and then I deep hold out from the thing, from the objects, right? So it cuts the ones that goes, so the particles are actually behind and in front of the pillars. Render this one out, give a little bit of blur, and this is just to make them a little bit less visible outside. I think this is the only mask I have on the whole stuff. So it's this and the one for the for this thing, and this one is the same. Yeah, so it's just the same mask. I unpremute this guy. There's some grading happening here. There's some expressions sending the channels, inverting it to make the alpha the negative Z. So I use that as a mask to grade it outside. Let's see if you can tell, but it's as it goes outside of the beam of the flashlight, it gets darker. And then I merge it over, so it's inside of the scene. And then the fog, which is takes this new Z from the dust and merge it together with the previous Z that we had before, and then we have this as a Z10. So it's the same, both Z's depths combined, and use this to make the dust, the fog actually, sorry. That's it. It's not so heavy to render, and yeah, pretty fun stuff to do. This shows how much we can actually change a shot if we take the time to model at least the main objects and clean some things in the projection, like reflection or light sources and stuff like that, and then you can really change this. If you really wanted to, you can also add like a noise in the camera, so it's not so artificial like this, so smooth, make it more like a normal camera. And the reflection of the sphere going around is really cool because it's behaving like it should. I mean, we don't have the back of the pillars, so that's not going to be there anymore, anyways. But as it moves from the ground and from the other things, it's actually reflecting as much as possible. Like it's a bit more accurate than just a flat image. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna switch to some other topic I'll probably post that on X, or old Twitter, and I hope to hear from you guys what you want for the next topic. Okay, and if you guys have any questions, of course, write on the comment section. I'll try to find an answer if I know. Thank you, and see you on the next one.